We are on chapter 73, and I am sorry about the late upload. I was supposed to upload last night, but Tatsi's home. He just got back from Samoa. Here we go, chapter 73. So my older brother, who's a year older than I am, has two best friends, Ka'a and Valea. We are already off to a bad start. I had the maddest crush on Valea as a kid. We all went high school together, and they were just always a grade above me. High school comes and I'm doing whatever I can, wherever I can, to ignore Valea. We spent every weekend at our house. 2019 came and my brother moves to Wellington, but Ka'a and Valea stayed back in Auckland. Valea would say hi anytime he saw me around, especially since he lived around the corner. We always bump into each other at our local dairy. 2020 comes and my family's going down to Welly for my brother's 21st. Nothing special, just dinner. Then my parents returned back to Auckland the next day. I was in Welly for an extra week because Gama was having a party on Saturday and a barbecue for his 21st. I had no idea Ka'a and Valea were coming down to Wellington. Better yet, I'll be sharing breathing space with him for the next 7 days. Ew. They had a gaming room where I was in. Valea finishes dinner, then comes into the gaming room, and once I saw him, I instantly got up and left. I walked past Valea and all I hear him say is, typical. 5 years later and you still walk out when you see me. Still ignore me. Is it 'cause I'm ugly? Do I look like a monkey? In my head, I'm like, sir, it's 'cause you're so damn fine. But did I tell him that? Nope. My smart ass said, yes, you're so ugly and I gotta walk out 'cause I can't even stand your face. I've actually done that before but ended up crying. Next morning in the kitchen, Valea says to me, I shouldn't like you, but I do. I always have, but you wouldn't let me talk to you. My only reply was, talk to my brother, then come back to me and tell me how you feel now. Nighttime comes and everybody's drinking. Once the party ended, Valea carried Ka'a into the living room and I took my brother to his room. I go to my room and get ready to sleep. But not long after, I hear and see Valea opening my door and I pretended to sleep. Little did Valea know I could hear him pouring his heart out to my walls about how much he likes me and wished I gave him a chance. Next thing I know, Valea is laying next to me and all I hear is Valea playing with his laho. At that point, I wish I wasn't fake sleeping. Just as he was finishing and up to leave the room, I woke up. We ended up talking and next thing you know, we were doing the bad things. The man's touched everything in my body in places I didn't even know until the sun came up. I had to send him to the other room before we fell asleep before my brother asked questions. We continued meeting in my room every night after Ka'a and my brother fell asleep so we could have our study sessions and it was bad things all over again right up until Ka'a and Valea left back to Auckland. I knew that when I returned to Auckland, I'll continue ghosting him because I believe in here for a good time, but not a long time. I have never heard that saying in my life. My feelings for him were no longer there, just the feelings I have for his magical touch. By the time I returned back to Auckland 3 weeks later, I felt sick. And behold, the girl is with thy child in thy stomach. When you do the bad things, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to carry a teddy bear? I got all the backlash of having a kid out of wedlock. Blah, blah, blah. I done the math. 2 + 10 = Valea. However, I was on a mission to ignore Valea at all costs. No matter what, do not look, breathe, or even speak when he is around or within arm's reach. I aced it for 7 months during pregnancy, but he seemed to have done the maths too, because by my 8th month carrying, I get home to him in my room with, it's my kid, I know it is, that's why you've been ignoring me. We spoke about it and concluded we won't tell anyone. I ended up moving to Wellington after giving birth, and my family still doesn't know who the father is. However, my brother was babysitting one day, and he goes, bro, Valentino looks like Valea. It's so buzzy. I gave him the side eye and walked off, thinking, yep, because I carried old mate here for 41 weeks, just for him to be his dad's little twin. Moral of the story, don't do the bad things if you don't use protection, kids. That was interesting. Next one. Back in high school years 2007 to 2008, 2 of my sisters worked with this guy who was looking for a partner at the time. I was single and mingling around at the time also. My sisters were in a convo about this friend of theirs, and I was like, who's this guy? Both of them were like, this dude at work. We're trying to set him up with the girl. I asked one of my sisters for a photo of this guy, and I fell in love instantly. I hinted to my sister to give her my number and all, and so she did. She comes back and tells me what he said, and next minute we started seeing each other. One time we went for a cruise late night, had a few while we drove, and at the time I was feeling a bit kinky. My insides just couldn't handle the temptation of wanting to also on him. Oh! Tell me why we both couldn't wait. So as we were passing Manukau Cemetery, we drove through the cemetery and parked up behind this dark section where you can see the motorway and did the bad things. At a damn cemetery. We knew we were at the cemetery, but didn't realize we were at the kids section and there were graves next to our door. 2 weeks later, after our dirty deeds at the cemetery, my darling nephew's 1 year was coming up, and yes, we held it at the same cemetery. I went, of course, but made it just in time, and tell me why his plot is 4 plots away from where me and Fingo did it 2 weeks before. Can you tell me why? To top it off, I found my high school ID and my 18 plus card on the ground. Fast forward, I am now married to his cousin, who was my bridal partner at his sister's wedding. And now we have 6 beautiful kids together with that ID of mine now living in his wallet. Well, may Lord grant you the peace, I guess. Next one. So me and this boy, let's call him Mulupo'o because he actually cannot grow hair. Anyways, we met off an app called Yubo. Yubo? What the hell is Yubo? Like Bebo? Oh my God, all these apps. And started talking through there until he asked for my number. He also told me he was on house arrest and that he would be getting locked up soon. Oh, fuck. So that same night, I decided to go over and see him before he gets locked up. Girl, where are your morals? Are they in your panty right now? Tell me why this Tamaloa was so catfish. He didn't have those broad shoulders like his photos. Anyways, that same night, he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I just said, I'll think about it. I go see him again the next day, and I went through his phone, and everything was fine until I went on his recently deleted. And I see a bunch of girls he was texting saying, I miss you. So I got up and left, and he decided to chase me to my car. And then I ended up in his room, and we did the bad things. Ew. After that night, I was going over to his house non-stop because the D was giving until now I am pregnant and I don't know how to tell him. Well, it looks like you're going to have to tell him over the phone in jail.